Okay. All right. Markel's here. We'll get started with questions. Brian Christopherson, 24/7 Sports. Go ahead.
Hey, Markel, how did you think Miles and Quentin held up, especially in that first half, playing alongside you?
I think they did pretty good, honestly. I think I can't ask for nothing more out of them than what they did.
What do you think of just the defense as a whole and the tackling in the second half when you watched it back? What do you think of the performance?
Uh, from the second half, I think we got to go on the same mentality that we had in the first half and knowing how to finish the game and how to keep tackling and keep building off what we did in the first half.
Lincoln Journal Star, Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Markel, how did you see Deontay and Cam handle knowing that they weren't going to be able to play in the first half? And then did you think they were able to hit the ground running when they got in the game in the second half?
I mean, how they handled it was pretty well. I mean, they was on the defense. They was on the sideline during the first half, congratulating guys and being involved into the game. And when they got in the second half, and for anybody just to hop in during the second half and not play in the whole first half, it's got to catch a rhythm first off. So it was, for them, it's still football at the end of the day. So they got to go out there and do what they can do.
Omaha World Herald, Sam McEwen. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Markel, thanks for doing this. Hey, third down defense over through the first two games. What do you like about what you guys are doing on third down, and what needs to improve?
I mean, going into this game, we had talked about 3 and outs. So that was the main focus, on 3 and outs to turnovers, because we didn't do too many of them things during the first game. So that was the main focus coming into this game. And while we was in the 3 and outs, I mean, it was just getting better and better, and it was bringing us closer and closer to wanting to get more 3 and outs and more turnovers during the whole game.
Lincoln Journal Star, Steve Sipple.
Hey, Markel. The team's had a bit of a rough end to last season. Now, kind of a rough start now. What is your message as you're a leader, a veteran leader? What is your message to the guys right now? What kind of things are you telling the guys?
I mean, as men, we got to keep our head up and keep on evolving. We can never look down on ourselves or stoop down to the opponent level. So we got to keep working. We got to keep going. We got 5 more weeks left, so we can't put our heads down and go half speed, my bad, on anything during practice or anything. So we got to keep working, because at the end of the day, we still got games to win, and we shouldn't want to lose the rest of the season.
Thank you, Markel.
You're welcome.
Husker Online, Sean Callahan.
Hey, Markel, can you just speak to what this Penn State game means, kind of to both programs? I mean, Penn State's a surprising 0-3. You guys are 0-2. It's a short season. Can you just speak to what this game means, probably to both programs going into Saturday?
Sean, your audio was low, but I can kind of repeat what I heard for Markel, just the meaning of this Penn State game and the importance of it with bouncing back from 2 losses to open the season.
Oh, you want to know about the Penn State game this week?
Yeah, just the importance of it.
I mean, I think it's very important to come out here and have somebody come into our home and show people who can do, because they got something to prove just as well as we do. So it should be a good game, good physical game, and try to come out with a win.
Sean, did you have any follow-up to that if your audio is better?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, yep, you bet. Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Markel, Luke Reimer, after the game Saturday, mentioned some nerves for him at the beginning of the game, that first drive, and then again at the start of the second half. Understandable, I suppose, with his first start. But from the defense as a whole, what did you see that was different about those couple of drives where Northwestern had success versus the rest of the game where you guys pretty much held them in check?
I mean, on the drive, they did have success on a couple plays. They did have success on. It was more of our own problems that we created that we got to fix during the film room. So it was nothing that they did. It was just problems that was on the defense.
And we'll finish up for Markel with Evan Bland from the Omaha World Herald.
Markel, you've obviously been around the program a long time, had a lot of home games. What do you expect to see this weekend with an empty Memorial Stadium? How do you feel like that's going to look or feel as a player out there?
I mean, we practice in the stadium, so it shouldn't be no different from the practice. And locking in, when you play in a game, you don't even worry about the stands. If you worry about the stands, then you worry about the wrong thing. So having a home game this week should bring a lot of more guys more into the game, more involved, and more focused on trying to get the win.
All right, great. Thank you, Markel. We'll have a couple more defensive guys here shortly, Collin Miller and Ben Stille. Okay, our next player will be Collin Miller, and if you have questions for Collin, let me know. First question for Collin, Steve Sipple, Lincoln Journal-Star. Go ahead, Sip.
Hi, Colin. Did you feel like the defense played well enough to win that game against Northwestern?
Yeah, I definitely think we played good defense on Saturday against Northwestern. Had 2 turnovers that we received. We had a strip sack that we didn't get, but I think we went out there. I think we played hard. I think we only had 1 penalty on defense. Was just a little approachment, staying disciplined. So I definitely think that we played good defense. Still have things we can clean up on. I still think that guys are going to go into the film room and look at the film and grade themselves pretty hard so we can get better for Penn State.
Thank you, Colin.
Also, Lincoln Journal-Star, Parker Gabriel. Go ahead.
Hey, Colin, I know that we've collectively all talked about Luke Reimer sort of as he's come along and pushed toward getting on the field, but did you expect anything different from the way he played on Saturday? And how good can the trio of you, Will and Luke, be as the season goes on? You guys are healthy.
Yeah, you guys finally got to see what, everybody at practice sees every day. Luke Reimer shows up every day with a positive mindset. He's just one of those guys that has a niche to get to the ball. But yeah, we see it every single day at practice, special teams, defense, individual with Coach Rude. So it was good that you guys finally get to see his talent and his skills that he has to bring to the defense for the Black Shirts. But yeah, I definitely think having both of Will Honus and Luke Reimer healthy and all together is going to benefit us. Splitting up the reps, so when we go out there on the field, it's not we're tired. We have fresh legs and are ready to give everything we got instead of being tired a little bit. But it'll be good to have all 3.
Brian Christofferson.
Hey, Colin, how do you encourage guys around you dealing with some of these 1-score game losses? It feels like there's been a lot of them the last few years. And what do you do as a senior to kind of keep guys' heads up? And what has to happen in your mind to turn the tide in those games that are decided by just a play or 2?
Yeah, I definitely think that one thing that we need to get better at is finding ways to win games. Like you said, too many close games by field goals or last-second plays. When we have a team down, we just got to figure out how to keep them down, put our foot on their neck and just keep going. Don't look back. Don't give them opportunities to get back into the game. But, I mean, this team, they came today, it was just like a feeling that, we got to get back to work, got to get back into the film room, got to get back onto, the practice field and just keep working. Nobody's hanging their head. Nobody's, dwelling on the game anymore. I think we did enough of that over the weekend. So Penn State, They're kind of in the same boat we are. So we're all just have the mindset of, we got to get it done this time. Just got to keep working, got to keep, analyzing film and just give it everything.
Omaha World Herald, Sam McEwen.
Hey, Collin, thanks for doing this. Hey, I want to go back to Luke Reimer for a second. Did you know as quickly as Rude did last year that this was a guy that was going to be able to help you? I know you guys had 3 linebackers last year with you and Will and Mo, but could you kind of tell that he was going to be special right off the jump?
Yeah, I can say for everyone in that room that he's probably the most athletic linebacker we have. His vertical is crazy. His speed's crazy. His IQ for football is just through the roof. Once he got there as a freshman, I know he did a lot on special teams, and he was making plays on special teams. I remember him in Colorado game. He had the kickoff. He ran down on kickoff, and he forced a fumble on kickoff. And, he just has the niche of getting to the ball, finding ways to make plays and just getting to the ball. So, like I said, it was just I'm glad that you guys could see what we all see every day in practice.
It's just a general question about walk-ons. Sometimes, our impression of walk-ons is, well, they might be really good players in high school, but maybe they don't have the physical talent or whatever to go on and be a really excellent player in college. And I'm curious how, like, scholarship guys like you've been your whole career look at walk-ons. And were you surprised that he was as good of an athlete as he was and he was a walk-on? Were you wondering, like, how this guy didn't get scholarship offers?
Yeah, I joke with the coaches all the time. Lincoln kid, went to North Star, came in as a walk-on, and then just shows his talents and skills, and everyone knew from the get-go that he was going to be put on scholarship pretty soon. He just has so many talents and so many things that he can help a football team with. You just need more Luke Reimers on your team. So scholarship or not, you just need more kids like him.
2 more for Collin. Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Collin, just curious, in a game like this that maybe doesn't have a lot of the external motivation, Penn State's 0-3, you got us playing in an empty stadium. Where does that motivation for you guys come in? I guess to who or to what do you turn to get up for a game like this Saturday?
Yeah. Definitely not the ideal situation that we wanted to start in. But I think that the motivation we get is that this could be the movement that we need, to get this thing going. 1 win could go to 2 wins, go to 3 wins, who knows? So definitely think you get a win here at home and get the ball rolling.
And last one for Collin, KETV, Andy Kendi.
Hey, Collin. Coach Frost talked about the necessity of you guys becoming a tougher team. He's talked about that for months. How have you gauged your team's toughness in the first 2 games of the season?
Yeah, I think we're pretty, like you said, got to get a little tougher in some parts of the team. But yeah, I definitely can see a difference from last year, though, physicality-wise. I think our front 7 on both sides of the ball are playing better, more physical. I just think that we need to get that little, keep our foot on their neck and, not give up on the gas and find ways to win. That's simple. Just need to find ways to win.
All right. Thank you, Collin. We'll have Ben Stille next. So if you have questions for Ben, go ahead and put those in the chat. Thanks.
Okay, everyone, we have Ben Stille here. First up, we'll have Andy. Andy, go ahead for Ben.
I'll go. Ben, how would you characterize, after looking at the film on Saturday, just the difference in the game in terms of first half performance and second half performance by the defense?
Yeah, I don't know. There was too much different. I mean, the first half definitely just a misfit on that first drive there, and then second half it was more so just a couple screen plays and some tackling was definitely difference between first and second half, I think.
You had to give the defense a grade Saturday. What kind of grade would you give them? Letter grade?
I mean, our goal as a defense is, our job is to hold them to 0 points, and we gave up 21. So, I mean, that's a huge thing for us. It's all we can control. As far as a letter grade, I don't know. I'd say around somewhere in the B range.
All right, Derek Peterson.
Hey, Ben. In the off season, or I guess before the season, we kind of talked a little bit about film sessions that you had with Ty Robinson and Casey Rogers and some of the younger guys. So just with spending more time with Ty and Casey specifically, like, what have you seen from them through the first 2 games of the season? What have you been impressed with?
Yeah, honestly, just been impressed with their consistency. That's something I really struggled with as a young player, and that's something all young players struggle with. And it's really the hardest thing for them is just to be consistent. I think they've really just been solid at that, making their plays within the scheme of the defense. I mean, that's really what we ask them to do. So, been proud of them for that.
Only been 2 games, but like, do you see maybe stuff that you talked about in those preseason sessions that are being translated to the game, or do you see them kind of with things clicking in their head as plays are going on?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, every play, every call we have on defense, there's a specific technique that we talk about with Coach T, and that we emphasize every time when I'm watching film with them. And so just executing that, no matter what the play is that the offense throws at us, just there's a specific response that whatever the offense does to us that we need to have. And so, yeah, I see that showing up a lot from them.
Thanks, Ben.
Next, we'll have Sean Callahan.
Hey, Ben, I was curious. You guys have done a lot of different things with the outside linebackers coming in to take out a defensive end. How has that helped the scheme of the defense? Is kind of bringing in more speed at times, the way you guys have been kind of using Feldarius Payne and some of these other guys on defense?
Yeah, I think it's good for us just to be able to get in and out of even and odd fronts. It gives the offenses we're playing definitely more than one scheme that they got to scheme up. So that makes it a little more difficult for them to just have to prepare and not know that we're going to be in the same place all the time. So yeah, it's definitely good just to give them different looks. I think it gives us an advantage for sure.
And then what is just the mindset right now within the locker room? Just obviously 0-2 start. How do you guys kind of keep things together on a shortened season, knowing that there are limited opportunities to play football games right now?
Yeah, it's just that less games this year makes all the ones we do have that much more important. So, yeah, it's crucial for us to get a win this week, get on a roll. Winning's contagious, so we just got to get one and get it rolling.
Evan Bland.
Hey, Ben, I know you guys have been practicing in Memorial Stadium, in the empty stadium, for quite a while. I'm just curious, as a Nebraska kid, what do you expect that to feel like on Saturday when it's that way for a game? And maybe in what ways do you think maybe it still will feel like a home game even without the fans there?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had tons of practices in there with little to no fans, people watching. Than just the other games we've had so far. So, I mean, it's not a huge difference, to be honest. A lot of the away games, I guess, aren't necessarily Memorial Stadium and the amount of fans they have. So it'll definitely be a little different compared to a normal home game, but I don't think it's been as big of an issue as people thought it would be going into the year.
Andrew Ward.
Hey, Ben, following along those lines, just you've seen a lot of games inside Memorial Stadium with a packed crowd. What are you going to miss about a home game, without any fans?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just the atmosphere and the electricity in the air is definitely a feeling you don't really get anywhere else in life. So it stinks just to miss out on that our senior year, but we just got to do a good job of bringing our own energy and getting it done ourselves.
Joe Nugent.
Hey, Ben, I'm curious what you've seen out of this Penn State offense, where you think they might pose some challenges on Saturday.
Yeah, I haven't had a huge chance. We're just kind of finishing up last week's stuff, putting it to bed. They have a dynamic quarterback, I know, and some dynamic receivers. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep those guys in check for sure.
All right, Ben, that's everything. Thank you. You guys just want to hold on. We'll see if there's anyone else out there. Thank you. Second, let me just check. All right, we have Kade Warner up next. So we'll just questions for Kade. Looks like there's no one in the queue yet. All right, Andrew Ward, go ahead.
Hey, Kate. This has now been after Northwestern. It was 10 losses by a score or less in the Scott Frost era. Just what's the mindset of this team right now, and how does that affect the confidence of this team?
Yeah, and as you said, it's the 10th one. So I get this question a lot, and all I can say is that I trust the guys on this team, and I love the guys on this team, and we've worked so hard, and we've been training for so long that I trust us to be able to overcome this adversity. We haven't gotten over that hump yet. I believe it's going to happen. You have to believe it's going to happen for it to happen, and I think we have the guys. But we just got to keep working. Frost says you get what you earn, so we got to go in practice this week and earn it. And every week we got to earn it. I think that's the motive going forward.
Next is Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Cade, we saw Marcus Fleming sort of get his most extensive action so far, Xavier Betts for the first time. What did you make of the way each of those guys played, and what have you seen from them, I guess, in recent weeks that has helped them get to the point where the staff trusts them to be on the field during games?
Yeah, no, Marcus played great. It was really cool to see Marcus, Lante, Xavier, Omar, all of them get out there in the field and get some PT and make some plays. And it's been a long time coming for those guys. And I trust each and every one of them. And it was finally cool to see them get out there and make plays. In the weeks coming forward, they've been preparing and getting ready because they know their chance is going to come. And so their chance was coming this week, and so they all got with me different times just to ask questions, go over plays, make sure they have it all down. Even from the day before the game, they were asking me questions just to make sure they had it all down, they had it all right, but they just wanted to double check. And so that attitude toward being perfect, I think, helped them all, and I think they all want to be great. And it's going to be awesome having them in our room, being able to get some PT going forward.
And just as a quick follow-up, I think, when Marcus was being recruited, speed was really sort of the first thing that came up in conversation with him. How would you describe him, I guess, at this early stage of his career as a player? What type of receiver is he?
Yeah, he's explosive. All those guys are. With the speed they have and that acceleration, it's really cool to see. I'm obviously a little envious of all those guys, and and the physical talents they have. But no, they've been great. It's been a long time coming for them, as I said, this summer. Seeing them progress has been a great learning curve for all of them, and I'm excited for all of them moving forward. I think they're all going to help us.
Next is Sam McEwen.
Okay, if there are 2 or 3 things you'd like to see Nebraska's offense, your offense, get better at right now, what would those 2 or 3 things be this week?
Yeah, I think the one thing that comes first to mind is no mistakes. We made too many mistakes that killed drives, too many self-inflicted penalties and negative plays that we've had this season and that we had last game, and it really showed. Too many false starts, too many holdings, and that's on all of us. That's not just on the line, the quarterbacks, wideouts. We got to get better as a team at that going forward, and I think that also red zone, we have to be more efficient. When we get that close in scoring drives, either in the fringe red zone or up close, we got to finish those drives. We got to get points. We got to score more points. And so we're going to work on that going forward. We already talked about it in our meeting, so I think we're going to have some new plays and some new periods in practice just to work on those things and get better at that.
Passing in the red zone was a struggle last year too. When you think about what you guys struggled with last year and what you've continued to struggle with in the first 2 games, what needs to change about the red zone and especially the passing game in the red zone?
Yeah, I think in the red zone, passing game comes a little different because defenses play different things. The coverages aren't the same. Blitzes are usually coming. So I think anticipation is a big thing for all of us in the red zone because everything happens so much faster and the windows are smaller. So I think that anticipation, I talk to the quarterbacks a lot about it, is key in getting the ball out quick and getting into our hands and us anticipating the ball coming. And it's something we're going to work on going forward. And I'll make sure with the quarterbacks that we're ready going forward in the red zone to be better at passing because we can't be one-dimensional moving forward.
Next, Mitch Sherman.
Hey, Kade, you talked about belief and believing it's going to happen. When you look around the offense right now, what do you think about guys and how much they're believing in the ability to get it done?
Yeah. We'll start off with the wideouts as I usually do. Those are my guys. I think that Lubick, Wandale, and I and a couple of the older guys have done a really good job building a culture in there that believes. Because if you don't have belief, you really don't have anything else. So I think that believing is the first key, believing that you can be successful, believing that you can make those plays, believing that we're going to win these close games. And I think that belief starts for me in my room. And I think that we've worked hard over this summer, over this quarantine season, to start building that belief. And I think you see those young guys step in there and they make plays. We have some older guys get some PT for the first time and they're making plays. So I think it starts from top to bottom in our room that everyone believes in, and then expand that to the whole team. I've talked to the leaders of every position group, and I think that moving forward, that if you don't have belief, you can't have anything else. And the fact that we've worked so hard to get to the point we're at, that you have to believe that the next step is coming, or else you can't work any harder. So I think that we'll keep working, we'll keep moving forward, and we'll get over that hump, and we believe that we will.
What's your belief right now in the quarterbacks to get it done?
Oh, yeah, unwavering belief in both of them. I think Adrian, moving forward, will work on the things he needs to work on. He's one of the hardest workers on the team, and I think he'll correct the mistakes. And then Luke is always ready. Luke, he's ecstatic, he's electric, he knows what he's doing. He can make plays on the field. So I have unwavering faith in both of them going forward, and I love both those guys, and I'm blessed to have both of them as my quarterbacks.
Next is Brian Christopherson.
Hey, Kade, I know you've taken those young wide receivers under your wing. Have you seen them understanding the little things that maybe have kept them from not playing as much or keeping them off the field? Do they seem to understand what it's going to take to contribute more?
Yeah, they know that they have all the physical attributes to play. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to block and you got to know your assignment. And they know those are the two things that all those young guys have to work on moving forward, because we say no block, no rock. So they know that they have to get better blocking, and they have got better blocking from when they started. And then knowing your assignment. If you don't know your assignment, you can't build that trust with the quarterback. You can't have your timing. So now the fact that they all know their assignments and they're all willing to block and willing to put their bodies on the line for the rest of this team, I think it's a great stepping stone. And I think they all know they still have to work on it. But where they're at right now is a great spot.
Steve Sipple.
Hey, Kade, it was a little rough day for Adrian. What did you see from him today? And did you have any conversation with Adrian in the days since that game?
Yeah, I talked to him during the game a little bit at the end of the game, and then last night he actually come over and we just talked about the game, kind of put it away, put it in the past behind us. But no, I talked to him. He knows that he didn't play his best. He knows that there's some mistakes he made that he wish he could have back. But he also knows that no one will work harder to fix those mistakes than him. And he also knows that he can make all those plays that he missed in the game. So his confidence is unwavering. He's ready moving forward. But yeah, I always try to stay in his ear and know that I'm someone he can talk to, that I still trust him, that he's still my quarterback. And I believe that he'll get it turned around.
Excellent. Thank you.
Kevin Zutz.
Hi, Kade. You guys have been practicing inside Memorial Stadium, but for the family members that are going to attend the game at home on Saturday and some of the media members that are going to be allowed to go, what can we expect to see? I know it's much different inside there, and what do you expect the vibe to be like when you guys kick off?
Yeah, the vibe's already different. I mean, you got cardboard cutouts in the stands, and we got a tunnel walk with a bunch of picture frames. So yeah, the vibe's already different, but I think that you'll see the energy still there, even with just the limited family members that we'll have. My parents are coming, so I know they'll be screaming their hardest, and I know a lot of guys are going to use all their tickets to try to fill up that stand as much as we can. But the vibe's definitely going to be different, but we've already gone through 2 games with no fans, so we're used to it now. So it's going to be a nice change to have somebody cheering for us and in the stands with a little bit more energy, but we're ready for it.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Kade. We might have one more player. Otherwise, we'll have a short break before Coach Frost at 12:30. Thank you.
All right, thanks for waiting. Coach Frost is here, and if you guys are ready for questions, Brian Christofferson, do you want to open up?
Sure. Hey, Scott. Thanks for doing this. Do you know what your plan is at QB going into the week, or is that something that we'll have to develop through the days ahead?
It's going to have to develop, Brian. We had a lot of kids played well, a lot of young kids that are, I think, ready to play, and I think our team understands that we're going to compete and let them compete on the practice field and play the guy that practices the best and gives us the best chance to win. So there's a bunch of positions that'll be that way this week, including quarterback.
How do you think Luke responded going in there in the fourth quarter, and how have you seen Adrian respond since then, going back to practice today?
Those are both great human beings and really good football players. We trust them both. We rely on them both. They'll both handle the situation well, and I hope they come to compete.
Parker Gabriel, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey Scott, with Adrian in particular, I know it's never just one thing, but 12 of 27 passing the ball. What did you see just from an efficiency standpoint there, and what in your mind needs to get better to be more efficient throwing the ball?
I talked to him about it. I think there just needs to be some decisions that are made a little quicker and more efficiently, and then a few balls that were just errant or out of bounds that needed to be put on the money. But for the most part, I think it's just processing information quickly, getting the ball out on time where it's supposed to go at a better clip, and just eliminating the plays that are killing us on drives, and just a couple plays here and there that'll kill you in a game.
And one quick follow-up to that, if I might, just overall, what do you think of the tempo that you've played with offensively so far, and how much does the quarterback determine the tempo that you can play at offensively?
Yeah, some of the tempo is the quarterback. Some of it is our decision to do that or not. I was impressed and pleased with how our defense has progressed these first two games. And, part of the reason we haven't gone light speed around here is we didn't want to leave the defense on the field that long. I'm really impressed and happy with how they're coming along. That'll free us up to potentially get a little more aggressive with tempo and offense.
Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland.
Hey, Scott, when you look back on the offensive penalties from Saturday, particularly along the line, to what do you attribute those, and were you surprised at how damaging each one proved to be for that given drive?
Yeah, I've said this a bunch, but our margin of error isn't big enough right now to overcome those things. That was the emphasis all week in our message to the guys, what we emphasized in practice, and we still had too many. There's been too many drives where we start 1st and 15 because we jump off sides. They were shifting up front. That cost us a couple. Our guys got jumpy and moved when they yelled shift and moved. But that's a focus thing, and that's a discipline thing, and you just, as an entire football program, we got to get that fixed.
Jake Bartecki, KRNU.
Scott, looking ahead to this week with Penn State, how much do you know about how Penn State plays football, and how well do you know James Franklin as a coach and as a person?
I know him really well as a person. My first job was at Kansas State in 2006. He was the offensive coordinator. I was the defensive GA. So he and I are friends. I haven't watched him very much on tape going back just because we haven't played them. Man, they're a really talented football team. You look at their defensive guys and just the length and speed they have everywhere. They've had kind of some unfortunate things happen to them here at the beginning of the year. I know they weren't expecting to be where they are, but it's a really, really good team, really talented team we have coming in here.
So would you say you think they're better than what their record shows to this point?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. You watch the first game and give credit to Indiana, but Penn State pretty much dominated most of that game and just didn't come out on top. Thought they battled with a really good Ohio State team and just had some unfortunate things happen to them in the Maryland game. But I'm sure they're going to be hungry for us.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Scott, how did you think Luke played in the last 2 drives of that game on Saturday?
Well, Luke came in and did a good job. We had a play on 1st and goal at the 2 that we made a mistake on. He kind of got us in the wrong thing. That's a first game thing. Obviously, the interception is unfortunate. It's got to be a high ball, high and inside. So there was a couple mistakes, but Luke's personality in general, he's a spark plug. He's just got energy that exudes out of him, and I think people rally to that. And that's kind of why we did it. We felt like we needed a spark, and just his nature provides that spark.
How do you get more efficiency in the red zone in terms of scoring touchdowns?
Well, we got to work on it. We worked a lot on it this past week. Again, I give a lot of credit to Northwestern. I think at the end of the year they might end up being statistically the best defense in our league. It wasn't just us. Maryland scored 7 on them, I think, and has been lighting up the scoreboard since. And Iowa didn't score a lot of points and scored a lot the next week. So there's no doubt it was a really good defense, and a lot of the credit goes to them. There was about 6 or 7 plays where just one thing went wrong, one missed assignment, one missed block, and we would have punched those in. But those are things we have to fix as a coaching staff.
Lincoln Journal-Star, Steve Sipple.
Scott, back to the QBs real quick. In your role, how can you help smooth what can be sort of a delicate situation on a football team?
Yeah, I wish I had the magic answer for that. All I can tell you is I'm going to treat that position just like any other, and it'd be a disservice to my football team to play a player at any position if we had a player at that position that we thought gave us a better chance to win. So we just have to evaluate like any other position and play the guy that practices the best and is most ready to help us win a football game.
Did you literally just kind of divide it up 50-50 with the ones, or do you go by feel in a practice? How does that work?
Most through all of fall camp and all our practices, it was 50-50. When you're getting ready for a game, we give more to the number one quarterback than the 2, and we got to determine what we're going to do there.
Thank you.
Husker Online, Sean Callahan.
Hey, Coach, I was curious on Cam Jurgens. Is that a long-term deal, or are you hoping to have him back sometime this season?
No, he'll be day-to-day.
Day-to-day. And then when you look at that offensive line, how do you think Matt Farniak did? I mean, he's played right tackle, right guard, and now center. You just don't see that a lot. I mean, how do you think he did in his first game as a center, and how can he improve going forward there?
Yeah, I thought Matt played one of his best games as a Husker. I think Matt was our best offensive lineman in that game. It's a credit to him that he's able to do all those things. He's a team captain for a reason, and I'm sure he'll be ready to play whatever role we ask him this week.
Adam Kruger, KM3.
Coach, how did your freshman wideouts grade out, particularly Xavier Betts and Marcus Fleming, and what does Omar Manning need to do to get more reps on Saturdays?
I thought those guys played well. There's a couple mistakes here and there, but, just looking at the film, honestly, there's no doubt with those guys on the field that they help us stretch the field more. We just got to keep bringing those guys along, and for all of them, it's a matter of getting practices under their belt. I mentioned this, but they've all, for different reasons, missed part of our preparation up to this point. Now they're all up and going, so we're going to fast track and see how fast they can pick everything up, and again, evaluate the practice and play the guys that we think give us the best chance. But all those guys are coming along, and we're anxious to have them know the whole system so we can get them out there.
Kevin Suits. Go ahead, Kevin.
Coach, talking to the players, you can get a sense that they have a sense of urgency right now, and their confidence is being tested. What is your message to the team right now?
Well, I think they realize that's the situation they're in. Sooner or later, the scoreboard is going to show it. There's no doubt in my mind how much progress we've made. We just need to turn it into wins. And that game Saturday was as frustrating a one as I've had here because we had opportunities to be in control of that game. We could have won the game, maybe even should have won the game. That wasn't like playing some other games where I felt we were just outmatched talent-wise. We weren't in that game, and the guys are impatient, just like I'm impatient to get this changed. And I keep saying it, but once it turns, it's going to turn in a big way, and we need to have that happen soon.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Scott, defensively, what are you most pleased with that you've seen through 2 games?
Probably starts up front. We played Northwestern, I think, was leading the league in rushing going into our game, and Ohio State's probably one of the best teams in the country, and I didn't think we got pushed around up front in either game. The very least held our own. We're starting to get more speed on the back end and getting linebackers to plays, getting the secondary to plays. Haven't been a lot of busts where we're just giving guys easy things that have happened in the past. Haven't been any loafs where guys aren't giving effort. So we keep doing those things, and our defense is good enough right now to help us win games or keep us in games, and we need the offense to put up points that correlate with the number of first downs and yards we're getting.
KLKN, Andrew Ward.
Hey, Scott, you kind of touched upon this with the players, but you took a lot of the blame on yourself on Saturday. How much pressure are you putting on yourself, to kind of turn this thing around here quickly?
Too much. I'm always going to point my thumb at myself and not the finger at someone else. State of Nebraska means so much to me. This program is everything. This is my life right now, and doing everything I can to get this where everybody wants it as fast as possible. It certainly hasn't gotten there as quick as I want it to, but I haven't for 1 second lost hope and belief in where we're going and what we're doing. And just being around it every day and seeing the progress, seeing the talent that's been infused into this program, seeing us be competitive. Again, it's about turning the page and finding a way to win a game and then getting on a roll and getting some momentum. And I think once that starts to happen, we have all the pieces in the program that we need to win and win at a good clip. But nobody's more impatient than I am, and nobody's putting more pressure on themselves than I am.
Parker Gabriel.
Hey, Scott, do you just like as a general philosophy, where you come down on sort of having a number of touches that you want to get particular players, and what do you need to do to maybe either manufacture or within the offense get more touches for Wan'Dale Robinson?
Yeah, we need Wan'Dale to be a bigger part of the game plan, so we're going to do what we need to. We've had a lot of plays designed for him in first couple weeks, and it hasn't panned out, so we need to do a better job of that. He's playing a spot at slot where pretty much everybody I've had in my offense that I've coached has good numbers to big numbers. And it just hasn't happened the first 2 weeks, but in that spot, that's kind of the focus of our offense, that slot position a lot. And I think it's just a matter of time that the ball finds him in our normal offense, and we'll design whatever else we need to make sure that he's a part of what we're doing.
Back to Sam McEwen. Go ahead.
Hey, Scott, thanks for continuing to do this. Do you feel like your offense is playing with the swagger and the edge that your best offenses over the course of your career played with, and maybe how do you get them to do that if they're not?
Not yet, and there's no reason that this group shouldn't. Part of that is what I'm saying about the whole team. We got to have a little more success. Let that lead to confidence. Let that lead to more success. Let that lead to more confidence. And in both our first games, we moved the ball well enough that if we capitalize, we get some things rolling, and it's easier to move a rock downhill than uphill. And we got to finish drives. And one thing, Sam, we need we need to make some more big plays, some more explosive plays. Too many of our explosive plays have come from quarterback runs, and we need to create some runs with the running backs. We need to create some plays downfield. It's hard to sustain and make 12-play drives go because one thing can go wrong or the defense can make a play. So we got to create some more big plays. We got the guys in the program now that I think are capable of doing that, and we just need some good things to happen to get that momentum and get rolling.
Was it you that kind of made the call late in the game to put Marcus Fleming and Xavier Betts on the field and say, hey, let's roll with those guys and see if they can help us get down the field?
No, that was the plan all along. The issue was, and that kind of hurt our tempo a little bit. I don't think they were probably ready to run every play in our game plan. So then it came down to, running certain plays with certain guys on the field and certain plays with certain other guys on the field. And we're going to be a really good team when all our guys are capable of running the whole thing. Then we don't have to substitute. We can have the best guys on the field all the time, whoever that is. But again, just because of some factors, those guys aren't quite, in our opinion, ready to digest and handle the whole game plan yet. And we're working to get there.
Time for two more for Coach. Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
Hey, Coach, can you just assess your running back situation? Were Ronald Tompkins and Ramir available, and what have you seen from Marvin Scott to kind of put him in that role? And obviously, what do you guys need to get out of Diedrich here going forward?
Yeah, Ronald had missed a few practices, and so he wasn't available in the game really to us. Marvin's done, we talk about competition at the position, and we thought going into that game that Ronald had probably practiced, that Marvin had probably practiced the best, and we rewarded him. And I was impressed with him in his first few carries. He ran the ball hard, did a good job on some plays away from the ball, and that's going to continue to be a competition.
Okay, and looks like last one for Coach Steve Sipple, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Yeah, here's one. Is this a home field advantage? Do you get a home field advantage? Is this a home field advantage game, Scott?
Yeah, but probably not like normal. Gosh, it'd be nice to have our fans in there and creating a bigger advantage for us. It's always easier to play where you're familiar and not travel and do all those things, but certainly not the same as having Husker faithful in there and a sea of red and giving us enthusiasm and noise. So not a normal home field advantage in my opinion, but just crazy that we're well into November and going to play our first home game. So we're just anxious to be in Memorial Stadium.
Did you feel like your energy was good? Your team's energy was good on the sidelines? You gauge that at all in your position?
I thought it was good. Maybe not quite where I want it yet. But again, success kind of breeds enthusiasm, and enthusiasm breeds success. And we're fighting through a lot of things here, but we gotta get over the top and get this thing rolling. And certainly a tough opponent this week, despite their record, to make that happen. But boy, the guys are anxious for it to happen, and so are we.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.